Alright, what's up guys? I'm going to start part 4 of the Fokker D7 build. Part 1 and 2, I went ahead and did the upper and lower wing. Part 3, we did some of the assembling of the fuselage. And when I left off on part 3, I was cutting out the piece for behind the cockpit area. Now I already went ahead and cut a 45 on both sides and then straight cut front and back. So we went ahead and popped that out. Then you want to take your plans, flip your piece over, and we went ahead and transferred these lines onto the back side of the piece. I think I got there. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and score and V-notch these lines. First I'll just score them. Alright, now we can crack them at them spots. And again, this is going to be the back of the cockpit area. But I want this piece to fold in the other way. So again, we scored them. Now I'm going to go ahead and just cut a V-notch out of both sides. So there you can see our piece starts to take shape. I want it to fold a little more. We'll go ahead and widen these out a little. Just go ahead and cut a 45 on the other side of the line. Like that. Now I'll take and run my, I got a little Phillips head screwdriver that I like to spread out these lines with. It just pushes that foam down in there nice so that this will bend real nice. Like that. And this will be the back of the cockpit area. Alright, so again, just like how I did the front piece, I went ahead and formed it and then hot glued it on the inside. Same thing I'll do for the back. So I'll just go ahead and hit it with a few hot glue spots. Then go ahead and bend it to the shape you need it. Just hold it on your piece. And as the hot glue sets up, the piece will hold that shape. Just like that. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. Another hot glue stick going. I just want to fill in these V notches that we cut out. Just makes the piece stronger. And don't glue any of your tops on here. We're going to install all the electronics. And here I already went ahead and cut out like our motor mount out of balsa wood. This will be for our landing gear. Slides in through the top, but we'll get to all that later. Alright, so we got both top pieces for the fuselage. Straighten these out real nice. I went ahead and taped down some other pieces of the plans. I got my elevator here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out right now. I'm just gonna freehand a lot of this stuff. It's all just straight cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this sheet in half. Make it a little more easier to work with. So again, I'm just doing the elevator. It's just a straight cut piece. I'm just going to freehand it so I can get it knocked out quick here. You guys can always throw a ruler on it. Alright, so there's our elevator. So we got our rudder on there. And there's the landing gear wing. Get to that later on. Alright, so I went ahead and cut that out. I want to go ahead and score for the hinge line. And the hinge line on this plane is from the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and score this. Crack it on that score line. Alright, so there's where we're going to hinge our elevator. And as you can see on the plans, you can see where I got a popsicle stick here. I just picked these up at my local craft store. You can get them in different sizes and lengths. Alright, so now that we've cut out the elevator, I'm going to go ahead and V-notch it, which is just a simple 45 in the line we just scored. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides. Then I just take my little Phillips head screwdriver, run it down this line. Alright, so there we got our elevator hinged. And like I said, this is going to be hinged from the bottom. You don't want the hinge line to show on the top, you want it to be on the bottom. That looks good. Now I'll go ahead and take my popsicle stick, and on the side that we just hinged and we just cut out, we'll go ahead and glue this on here. So just add some strength in this area. There we got our elevator all cut out and ready to go. And again, don't glue none of your pieces yet. We'll do that in the final assembly. I just build all the pieces and mock them up first. Alright, we're done with those planes. Alright, let's move on to the rudder. Here I taped it down on my sheet. Go ahead and cut out for this. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife on these sharp radiuses. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and freehand all this. You can see here you're going to need some CA hinges to apply the bottom of the rudder to the plane. And again, don't assemble none of your pieces with hot glue until you get all the pieces cut out, and I do a test fit just to make sure they all work right. Back in here with my straight razor. Now on the plans you'll see I have flipped piece over, hinge from backside. So I'm going to cut this piece out, flip the plans over to the other side of the piece, and then mark that hinge line. Give this some spots here. So I'll go ahead and move the plane off to the side because I'm going to flip that onto the back side to finish up that hinge line. Go ahead and clean this piece up. Alright, so now you want to take your rudder. I missed a lot of paper on the back of this somehow. Yeah, but anyway, I might go ahead and cut out another rudder. Just to get my razor blade must have dulled out. But what I was saying was you want to take your rudder and hinge it from the back side of the piece. As you can see, we cut it out like this. And I just want to flip this over, just transfer that line onto the back side here. I'll just press hard on the foam here. I want to hinge it from this side. Like I said, I'll probably go ahead and cut out another rudder out of another piece. The razor blade seemed to have dulled out here. And there we got our rudder cut out. Like so, you guys. Now we got movement up and down, left and right. Alright, so there's our rudder and elevator. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the landing gear wing. And again, this has got scallops on it. So you want to go ahead and cut the scallops. I just take a ruler on the back here and go right down the line. Like that. There's also a score line in the center, so we're going to run a piece of carbon fiber rod through that. So I'll go ahead and just score that line. Again, this is the wing that's going to go on our landing gear. Let's get it off here. Just like that. Get the sticker off here. Alright, don't V-notch where we scored it. That's just going to fold onto the carbon fiber rod. And I'll get to that in part 5, how to assemble that. Alright, here we got our servo holder. You can see there's two 9-gram servos for the rudder and the elevator. Now what you want to do is go ahead and score the center line. I scored it. Now I'm just going to straight cut out the whole piece. Cut 245s each side of the score line. And this is what's going to hold our servos, as you can see here. It's just a servo box. And I'll have my control rods. All the parts I use are from the Hobby Zone Super Cub, guys. It's written on the plans. These are just your control rods for that plane. Also the landing gears from the Hobby Zone Super Cub, the tail wheel. Alright, so our servos are going to get placed in this. I'll go ahead and hot glue that up right now. I just fold it up. You can go ahead and keep the plans for this piece. So you're going to want to mark out for your servos. I didn't cut out the servos because you might want to use different size servos than I do. So I mean, if you're gonna, you just use the plans to get an idea of where you're going to cut them out on the piece. Alright, and this will be installed inside the plane with the servos, with the control rods running up to it. This is a piece here. This is for the landing gear mount. This would be cut out of a hardened balsa wood, which I already did here. And that's what your landing gear is going to slide up through. And this piece here actually gets installed inside the fuselage, but we'll get to that later on. Alright guys, now I'm part 5. I'll start assembling some of these pieces. Assemble the front, 2 top pieces. But alright, I'll get back to you with part 5 later.